Hello everyone, welcome back to the Boudoir. I am your host Aisha Jones. Welcome back for another Tuesday podcast episode. It is always a pleasure to be here talking to you guys. Let's talk about that title, okay? We're going to be talking about the importance of having an identity in this big crazy world. I don't know about you, but it seems like these days there's just so much happening between all of the ads for all of these products and like all of the stores, all these online boutiques that just seem to spawn out of nowhere. And you're just getting inundated with all of these ads, all of these things telling you what to do, all of these people's content creators, get ready with me to do this, get ready with me to go to there. There's just a lot. There's a lot happening in a world like this where you're seeing and hearing so many people's different opinions. You're constantly getting flooded with messaging, especially if you have a problem with being on the phone, which a lot of us do. In Gen Z, we have a problem with being on the phone all day. Just imagine if you're sitting on your phone for like 8 hours, 4 hours, even 3 hours throughout the day. Think about all of the people's videos you're either scrolling past, or you're watching the whole thing, or you're only watching like 5-10 seconds. Regardless of how much you choose to watch or how little you choose to watch, you're still being affected by that person's energy. You're still coming in contact with another person, because let's face it, we're gonna look this up. If we're just talking about ads, the average American sees about 4,000 to 10,000 ads per day. We haven't even talked about social media. I wanted to see a metric for how many pieces of content, how many videos, like let's say you're just scrolling on TikTok. How many scrolls do you think you're scrolling? How many people's faces that have a whole story, a whole life background, a whole lore to them, you know, likes, dislikes, people they don't like, people they love, their own traumas, and you're just scrolling. You might be taking in that information, you might not be. But I say all of this to say, in an era where everybody is online, and in an era where everybody is trying to sell something to you, be it clothes, be it makeup, you must try the new viral lip gloss that you've never tried before, even though it looks like the same colors that you've seen pretty much your whole life, but you must get this viral one. You know, all of the sense of urgency, and I get it. You're on social media, you're competing with all of these different people, and you're trying to get people to stop and stay on your video, and so you're pulling out all of these terms, you're saying all of these things like, all of the it girls are wearing this scent. If you want to be that girl, these are the products you need. If you want to be a feminine girl, you have to toss out all of your old wardrobe, you have to fill it up with all of these pink, frilly, floral, pretty clothing. Somebody is always telling you that you need something, or somebody is always telling you that your life is not going to be complete until you have X, Y, and Z. You must, oh my god, you need this product, because I'm obsessed with this, okay? And I'm sure we could all agree, like, the whole I'm obsessed culture, I think we've really chewed, we've gotten all of the flavor out of that term that we could possibly get, and yet it's still in our everyday lexicon, at least for me. And you know, I'm saying all of this, but I also participate in a little bit of that. I am an influencer, I guess you can say. I get a lot of gifted collabs, or I'll just get a lot of brands that will contact me, and a lot of skincare brands that will want me to promote their product and just, you know, give my honest review, but still talk highly of the company and of the product. So please believe me when I say this. It's not to cast judgment on anybody. Like, if anything, I'm the person that these people are targeting. Like, I will swipe that credit card at a drop of a hat. I will spend my money. You know, I'm always going to want something. I always want to shop, and I shop often, and I love that because I genuinely do enjoy shopping as a hobby. So this is not me criticizing your life choices. This is not me telling you, that you're doing something bad. We're just having a conversation, as we like to do on the Boudoir. Right. So as a result of us scrolling all day, and then we're coming across all of these different people, all of these different personalities, all of these different opinions, we're skipping those ads quickly, or we actually might stick around because the product actually influences us, or the service seems like something we might actually use in our daily lives. So the thing I was pondering about this is like, right, so when you're inundated with all of these different people and all of these different personalities, because again, this whole social media thing and like socializing on a grand scale and on a massive scale, where you're getting reach of anywhere from 200 views to millions of views, depending on how viral you go, that's not normal for the average person. Like, the average human is not speaking to 700 people. Like, let's say you have 700 followers. Yeah, that seems like, oh, I only have this amount, I'm a micro influencer. If a group of 700 people came up to you and wanted to have a conversation, you would feel slightly overwhelmed. So like sometimes you do have to put these things into perspective, you know? And when you're online, it's almost like out of sight, out of mind kind of, because it's like there's this like weird dichotomy of like, okay, yeah, you're seeing all of these numbers, you're seeing the followers, you're seeing all of these comments and likes, but at the same time, you're not always putting faces to names, especially if you're just like looking at a comment section. All you really have to go off of is that person's profile picture. So it's not like a traditional way of meeting somebody and socializing with them, but you still are getting that human to human contact because that's another person behind that Hello Kitty profile picture. Like a lot of people will say, oh, well, if you're just on social media all day, that's not real social interaction. And while I agree to a certain extent, I don't think that we should diminish the actual impact of what social media can do for friendships. Like I've met some like lifelong friends of mine that I know I will speak to when I'm 65 years old from social media. And like there's a true deep connection there, and like, you know, these people are real people. Just because we can't see them face to face, like you can still actually foster a great friendship, and eventually you can go meet those people in real life. It's important to think in not a black and white way. Like, you know, there's some people that are like, social media is horrible, it did so much terrible things for the entirety of society, and then you have the other half of people that are like, oh, social media is great, it can do no wrong. It's always important to form your own opinion and to kind of find a middle ground and kind of be open to hearing both sides. And this is just with anything, you know. I bring this topic up because I wanted to talk about this in the context of authenticity. I just wonder what happens to the human brain when you're just consuming other people's thoughts all day long, and then when it's time for you to form your own opinion, what does that do for you? How does that leave you in the decision-making process? How does that leave your self-esteem? What kind of effect does that have on somebody? So let's take a stab at that today and see what happens. You know, we're just kind of spitballing here, and I would love to bring a doctor or a psychologist on the show one day just so that we can have like that real educated perspective, because these things really do fascinate me. Like, again, social media is still pretty new. Like, we don't know what's going to happen to our brains in the next 10, 15 years, even 5 years as a result of this. And on top of that, like, social media is just moving so fast. Remember like, Periscope? Nobody, like, I'm pretty sure nobody knows what Periscope is. At one point, Snapchat was the biggest thing ever. At one point, Instagram, you could literally just post a bologna sandwich and go on about your day and your 6 likes and it was fine. So with social media evolving in such a quick way, it's great. You know, innovation is great. We love that. Like, we're getting smarter and we're applying that knowledge, and some people are able to make whole careers off of social media. Some people have made lifelong friends, have met their partners through social media. You know, social media has done so much great stuff, and I would say overall, I would say it's done more good than bad. If you ask me, you can't help but wonder, if you're sitting here and you're listening to other people's thoughts all day long, is that not propaganda? In a sense, like, if you listen to a topic enough, your brain could get swayed and you can start being influenced by what other people are saying. That's why they call them social media influencers, because they want to influence you to make a certain purchasing decision, have a certain thought process, to hit the follow button, subscribe, like. And you have to imagine, especially for somebody that's younger, for somebody whose brain is a little more moldable, and like they're just so impressionable and they can go any which way because everything is so new to them. You have to wonder, like, what does that do? What does that sense of like unlimited choice do to somebody? And I say this because it's like a lot of the trends that you see, it's like, do you think that we actually want to follow these trends, or do you think that we only want to follow them because they're trending and we think that we should like it? What do you guys think about that? Like, you know, remember when ballet core was really huge? Everybody all of a sudden had Miu Miu ballet flats, pink bows everywhere, pink and black, pink Pilates core, princess, whatever. It's like all of a sudden everybody wakes up and we're all doing something. Or like the office siren thing, all of a sudden everybody got some rectangular glasses and started showing up in some slacks and pumps. Like, the rate in which things become trendy these days is so exciting, crazy, strange, awesome to experience. And I came across this term that I had never heard before, but this is kind of like the same conversation we're having now. And I love when this happens. Like, I love when I come across something that I don't know and I can like sink my teeth into it and do like a whole deep dive. Have you heard of mimetic theory or mimetic theory? Well, I'm going to tell you about it. And this term basically refers to the idea that human desire was not linear. But in actuality, desire comes from watching others model what they think you should desire. Mimetic desire is the idea that people model their desires after what others want. And I think that literally captures social media so well, because if you think about it, like the title says, TikTok made me buy it. You need this product. You're going to spontaneously combust in the next 0.3 seconds if you don't buy this lip gloss right here, right now. I'm obsessed. Like all of these things, it's like, okay, if you hadn't picked up your phone and decided to open the TikTok app and scroll and happen to come across this young 20-something-year-old woman screaming in your face about how obsessed she is over this makeup product, do you think you would actually want it if you hadn't seen the video? Like, is that something you independently would have thought of and been like, you know what, I'm dying for a new pink lip gloss, and then you came across that video and it was just like, you know, synchronicity? Or do you think that a lot of what we desire, we only want it because we see other people wanting it, and it's kind of like things only become desirable when they see others desiring it? It's like, oh, well, maybe I should have this too, or I should want this too if everybody else wants it. Maybe I should want to go spend $100 million at the Hermes store for them to maybe possibly give me the chance of buying a Birkin, because that's what everybody else desires. So maybe I should desire that too. Maybe I should desire going to Nobu because everybody else talks about Nobu and how cool it is, so maybe I should desire that. Like, I just find that concept so fascinating, because at the same time, it's like there's nothing wrong with wanting something that others want, but at the same time, when you put it in the context of like spending money and going shopping, how much money do you think you could have saved if we didn't have something like TikTok? Social media is part of the reason why, you know, our consumer habits have, I can't even put a number to it, but like if you were to compare the shopping habits of somebody in the 1950s versus now, that thing would look crazy. Like, we just consume so much as a society, especially as Americans. It's just crazy. And of course, social media is going to add to it. Like, especially a lot of these apps will have like in-app shopping, TikTok shop, one wrong swipe and you're on somebody's live. You're constantly inundated with messaging. You're constantly inundated with, I'm obsessed, you need this product. And again, I'm part of it too. I am also a part of it. I am also a part of it. I also exist in society as well. So I'm not looking down, I'm not criticizing, okay? But I'm just saying, like, next time you go to buy something, ask yourself, did I want this, or did somebody tell me that I wanted it and so now I want it? Did I actually want 10,000 Stanley Cups, or did I see a girl with a whole Stanley Cup collection, so I thought that I should have that too because others desire that and it seems like something I should want? Or it's like how every few years a different vacation destination will become popular and it's in like a bunch of rap songs and stuff, or like a different alcohol. Remember, it was all about Casamigos, and then now it was the 1812, what was it called? I don't know, 1842, 18 somebody, the one in the big blue and white container. I don't know, it's like $1,000. It's like, do you want that for real? Like, do you genuinely want to drop $1,000? You want to drop a whole rack on a bottle of alcohol, or did a rapper tell you you're gonna be cool if you buy this bottle of alcohol? Do you need to go to Dubai, or did some girl tell you you must go to Dubai and it's the coolest place ever, so now you want to go to Dubai? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's okay to be influenced by other people, but it's still something to consider. Like, how easily influenced are you by others online? How easily influenced can you get by somebody that you've never met on your little phone screen telling you, I'm obsessed, you must buy this product? That's why it's super important to develop an identity. And I think that this is so important, especially for younger people. If you're going to be on social media, like, you must develop your own identity. Otherwise, you will buy any and everything. You will follow any trend. You will listen to anybody's advice. You have to develop a sense of self and get to learn you, especially if you find yourself always chasing something and you feel like you're never truly satisfied. You have to get to learn who you are and learn yourself, because when you do that, you won't feel like you have to participate in every single trend. Like, if you know you don't like a whole bunch of clutter, you don't have to buy every single color of every Stanley Cup. You don't have to buy every single color of every Lululemon jacket. Just because other people desire to have something doesn't mean you have to have it too. It's just like the whole, you know, white refrigerator, brown cabinet thing. Like, yeah, everybody wants stainless steel, maybe everybody wants updated appliances, but that doesn't mean you should feel less than about where you're living, because having a house, period, is a blessing. Regardless of what your cabinet or your refrigerator looks like, having one, period, is a blessing. And B, again, when you turn your phone off and when you get off the app, none of it actually matters in real life. It seems so big when you're on the app. It seems like it's the whole world because you're just filling up your brain with other people's thoughts and you feel like that's what everybody else is thinking. But if you step outside, nobody cares. Nobody is talking about, oh, you got a white nobody cares in real life. So just remember, like, things might seem so big and so crazy. Like, even scandals on social media, there's so many scandals that it seems like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. Like, this person is canceled, they're done for. And when you go in real life, if you were to ask somebody who this person was, nobody would know. They'd be like, who are these people? Touch grass, for real. Touching grass is super important. Finding your own identity is super important. Like, in a world where people are throwing so much at you, it is so important to have your own thoughts, your own opinions, your own way of doing things. That way, when you are inundated with all of these people's opinions, or you feel like you have to give your opinion on the latest beef and drama, like, if that's genuinely not who you are and you don't care about these types of things in real life, why comment on them in social media? In my real life, I don't comment on every single drama that's going on. So I don't do it on social media. Like, there was a time where I felt like I had to weigh in on certain things. But I have to ask myself, like, if I turn my phone off, do I still care? I barely care when the phone's on. So it's like, I don't care anymore to comment on other people's lives. Like, people are going to do what they want at the end of the day. Sometimes I might chime in if I feel so compelled, but most of the time I do not, because once I turn the phone off, it all goes away. And you guys are just a figment of my imagination. Not you guys, but like the people on these, like, it's just a figment of our imagination. They don't actually truly exist. They're just pixels. That's why I was saying before, like, it's so interesting because, yeah, on social media, you're talking to a real person behind that profile picture. But in the grand scheme of things, they really are just a pixel. And like, once you close that app, they're gone. Or like so many social media conversations that feel like it's the end of the world. Like, oh, 50-50, who gets to sit in the front seat? Nobody cares in real life. Like, you probably don't care either. You just feel like you have to care. You just feel like you have to be outraged because it's like manufactured outrage. They know that outrage pays the bills, so they're making you feel like you have to react or give your opinion on something that you probably wouldn't care about had you not have seen it. Had it never graced your FYP, you probably wouldn't have cared. So just remember that. Like, if you ever feel like something's getting so overwhelming, and it doesn't even have to just be on social media, if you feel like in real life something is literally stressing you out so much, you have to pull away and you have to kind of look at it objectively and be like, okay, do I actually really need to freak out about a work deadline unless you're doing open heart surgery? Like, no. Nobody's gonna die. Like, we're all gonna be fine. Maybe my boss might be a little annoyed because something didn't turn out right, but they'll live. They'll be fine. Like, the earth continues to spin. And when you look at it from that perspective and you stop making everything such a life or death, like, oh my god, I must, freak out. Like, you're wasting unnecessary energy on something that doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, some of the things that we freak out about are like just some of the things that seem so urgent. If you like take yourself out, like if you take your feelings out of the situation and you just look at it for what it is, you can be like, what am I freaking out about? Like, I'm fine, I'm okay, I can breathe, I'm healthy. Like, that's all that matters. Like, I remember in my earlier 20s, I used to freak out about everything. Like, everything was just the end of the world. Like, the smallest little inconvenience, I was ready to just throw up. But now I'm in a space where I'm just like, y'all can only get so much energy out of me. Y'all can only get so much emotion out of me. Like, I choose to carry those things, my emotions. They're so precious to me, and I choose to carry them close to me and delegate them when I so feel like it. And I'm just not gonna waste it on like a work crisis, because the work I do is not life or death. Like, there was a time, it was a couple weeks ago, my SD card broke, and yes, I was upset that I couldn't get the episode out, but like, nobody died, we were all here, like, we all came back. Thank you. Like, sometimes you just have to put things into perspective and stop taking it so serious. So in conclusion, I guess I just want to say to remember that this is your experience. Like, you really need to curate your own social media experience. And the second something makes you uncomfortable, or if you notice that there's an account that constantly gets under your skin, because I have that. There's some accounts that will pop up on my For You page, and every time they have a take, I'm just like, I want to pull my hair out. But it's like, this is my phone. I pay no, my mommy pays the phone bill. But still, this is my phone, okay? It's my phone. It's in my possession. I am not going to stress out on my phone. That's just not going to happen. Why would I stress out on a device that I have control over, where I can use certain words, I can block accounts, I can mute accounts, I can do what I need to do to curate the experience that will be good for me? There's no point of getting myself upset, hurt, and bothered when you can literally hit the not interested button. Doesn't always work. Sometimes these apps will still show you people that you blocked or like you don't want to see, and they still somehow magically appear in your FYP. You can still curate your own experience, and you should take the initiative and do that. You should, if you know that certain accounts that are rage bait accounts, block them. Stop stitching and feeling like you have to, get your point in. Like, why exert unnecessary energy for no reason? If you know something makes you upset, if you know you don't agree with something, just block everything. Or just scroll past and don't interact. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and let me know what other topics you guys want to see on the Boudoir. Don't forget to download today's episode if you're listening to me on Apple or Spotify or wherever else you're listening to me. And of course, YouTube fan, you already know to subscribe and like and leave me a comment. Talk to me. Let me know how your week has been. I will catch up with you guys next time. Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye.